have organization, especially when you get up, go into the bathroom, you try to figure out what you're going to wear. You might want to be able to find your shoes easily and actually see all the option of shoes you may have, see all the line of elements like blouses or, sweaters you may want to wear that day. So when you actually are able to find those things in the morning pretty easily, that brings you to a different lifestyle.
Welcome, everyone, to today's podcast episode. You're listening to the Home Design Podcast. My name is Adam Kayce, your host, and we aim to educate, inspire, and connect South Florida with the industry authorities within their trade. Today's podcast episode is a must listen to or watch episode before you start designing your new closet. We're going to be discussing everything that you should know when going into product selection, customized features, space planning, and overall designing the perfect closet and storage system for every room in your home, all with Oscar Ruiz of the Closets Company. What's happening?
Hi, Adam.
Did I do you well there?
Yes.
All right. Awesome, man. Well, we've known each other for a while. You've been a part of the home designer remodeling shows for longer than I've even been doing this, I feel like. But I want to dive into first. Who is Oscar Ruiz and the Closet Company?
I consider myself an entrepreneur. I love exploring business ideas. I fell into the home industry just as something of a circumstance. When I came, my first job was working at a carpentry shop. So I started learning a little bit about the trade and how to do things. A couple months or like a year after, I ended up working for a guy called Michael Rogers. He was from Massachusetts. He had a business, a closet company, and he pretty much taught me everything that I needed to know about the business. And I took that opportunity and I turned it into my own business later after, just a couple of years. And I was able to bring my family in. My brothers are my partners. And that's how basically the Closets Company started.
It's amazing. How many years ago was that?
That was in 2002.
All right.
We started.
That's exciting. Yeah. It's amazing. And how long have you been in the location that you're in now?
In this location, it was probably 2011 when we came in, probably in 2012 because we had to condition the place. So yeah, it took us like about a year to get it ready. Probably 2012 was when we started in Pompano. Yeah.
And for everyone that's listening, your location is amazing. I mean, you guys have everything in-house, all the machinery, everything, but a beautiful showroom for everything you guys do. But going into, your business and the industry and things like that, you've been in this for a while, over 20 years. How has the industry changed from when you guys started? Like, closets, I mean, the function hasn't changed, but the sophistication, everything that you're doing day in, day out.
Right. So, it's basically like anything. In the beginning, closets were just basically a hanging rod and a shelf, a place where you hang and just place something on a shelf.
Pure function.
Exactly. So later, custom closets start to become a little more, popular because then you could add drawers, you can make it to sizes, different colors, add different features to it. I think nowadays people are looking for something a little more of a high-end side of it, where they can incorporate different types of things into the closets. We have so many accessories and so many cool ideas that, when people sees those, online or whatever, they just want to replicate that into their closets.
Right.
And that's where, bring our experience. Some ideas can be incorporated in certain closets. Sometimes they can't, but we try to show the customer which ways we can actually make something amazing happen for them to keeping the custom idea going into their home.
Absolutely. Do you find that people today, when they come to you and they're looking for, storage solutions, closet systems, things like that, talking about like the custom closet versus, the standard functional closet that still has, the drawers and a bit of a built out. What are the requests coming in? Like, what are people looking for? Like, do you find that most people want like all the bells and whistles, custom closets? Like, everyone has their taste, but what type of closets are you guys really doing most of today?
Right. So most of the time people just...
And I guess let's first define, to run through that again, a custom closet. Like, what defines a custom closet? Exactly.
So basically a closet, to me, it has basically a few elements that are, a standard, which is hanging, like double hanging, single hanging, long dresses, space for shoes, shelving, a space for like handbags, storage shelves, and drawers. Those are the basic concepts of a closet. But then it comes how you put those elements together in a closet to make it work. And sometimes you find some challenges because some spaces are very different than what sometimes people see on a magazine, so we have to try to incorporate those concepts into these particular spaces, and that's when experience and some other things come into play, and then you start actually teaching people what the options are in terms of backing panels, lighting systems, pull-out systems, how many drawers you actually need. And that's something that we do when we come to the homes. We take a look at what they have, and we actually bring that into the new concept that we're trying to present to them to actually make something of a really big change in the home.
I mean, it's basically endless. Like, the closets can go as far as you want. I mean, it's absolutely incredible what we're seeing. And as you mentioned, like, people get inspiration from online. They see different things, whether they're looking at social media, if they're looking at Pinterest, if they saw a friend's closet, whatever it is. And then, the idea starts to evolve.
Right.
So talking about, the value, people putting money into their closets, because a lot of people, when they initially think about like return on investment, they're thinking kitchens, they're thinking outdoor space, adding these different elements. But the feeling you get with a finished closet, with a finished pantry, finished areas with the storage solutions, things like that. I want to kind of talk a little bit about the return expectations and the effect that the different types of storage and closet systems have just on a home in general, because when people make an investment in their home, no matter what it is, they also have to look at it as a business decision and how it could affect resale.
Exactly. So in terms of resale value, closets are playing a very important role. I've been talking to realtors, and they always want to make sure that their clients, can offer that option when they're trying to sell a property. That to have custom closets is like a big feature, because that actually gets into the heart, especially of women, as you may probably know. So when they see their closets already done, it's like, oh my God, this is the house that I want. It is very important. But in terms of personal ROA, I think it is a really, really nice feature to have, because organization plays a very important role in your life. It's like getting coffee in the mornings, it becomes something kind of like you really need it.
Coffee bars in master bedrooms. I mean, it's a thing.
Yeah. So when you have organization, especially when you get up, go into the bathroom, you try to figure out what you're going to wear. You might want to be able to find your shoes easily and actually see all the option of shoes you may have. See all the line of elements like blouses or sweaters you may want to wear that day. So when you actually are able to find those things in the morning pretty easily, that brings you to a different lifestyle.
It actually, as you're thinking about this, I'm thinking about like my own perspective. So like you're saying like being able to see everything, knowing what you have, being able to wear things, because if you just put everything in drawers, it probably will get hidden. You forget about it. And I'm thinking about like my wife, like if she doesn't see it, you're like, she needs more stuff or whatever it is. She doesn't have enough, but she really forgot about what might be buried. So guys out there, husbands, this might be the best investment for you, because it will pay off just because she'll be able to see everything.
Yeah, exactly.
So talking about all of that, and there's a clear return. There's a clear emotional component that people get when they install closets. as far as looking at all the different types of storage systems that you guys install and you work on throughout a home, would you say that there's like an order of importance as far as like where people are putting their money? Like if somebody gives you a budget and they say, well, I want to do all of the closets in my house. Maybe they have 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, whatever. Maybe, other storage areas, could be a pantry, something like that. What would you kind of list as level of importance as far as where budget should be allocated?
Master closets are always going to be the most important areas in the house. I always ask important questions and relevant questions to the clients when it comes to priorities and how they really want to see their closet look. That's very important because although it's just a closet, sometimes people may think it involves a lot of thinking and getting ideas together to make sure that you actually deliver the concept that the customer is looking for.
Right.
And yeah, that's the reason why, again, experience comes to play there, because we want to make sure that we don't hit the wrong target on what they're looking for,
right.
But we actually show them what they want, and also bring it to the budget level they're trying to get.
Absolutely, because we'll get into this a little bit later, but working with the right professional is everything, because it's not only just the experience of the design, the building, the installation, the everything. It's knowing what's available and being able to optimize the budget to maximize what's going to be installed. So talking about the process, because when it comes to the process, that's often what differentiates one company from another, and what they do internally, how they design. What does your process look like, or what should the industry's process be from start to finish? Somebody calls you guys, they want to look at closet systems or whatever. What are those steps?
So we try to keep the process very simple. Obviously, it starts with a call and people requesting the estimate. Then we come to the house. We always want to see the space because we want to be familiar with the size of the areas that we are going to be working with. And taking measurements. We love taking our own measurements to make sure we get the right design. After that, we start coming with ideas based on concepts and wishes and what we see inside the closet. So we kind of like bring all these elements together into the design to show the customer what's the potential of the closet. We show them different colors. We show them different options like backing panels, LED lighting systems, stone countertops if they have the option for those, sometimes islands. But again, it goes by the hand of what the expectations of the customer are. And once we have all these ideas together, we do the presentation. We encourage people to come to our showroom. Like you said,
yeah.
It's a very nice showroom where we can actually explain to people and they can actually see for themselves all the options they have. Because again, the sky is the limit here.
It's unlimited.
So we have many ideas and concepts that we can apply into the projects. And once they see the designs, they could tell us, okay, maybe I want to change this. Maybe I want to make these adjustments. We just make the changes into the designs, and then they're just ready to go ahead and proceed. Once we have the order signed, we usually deliver the project within 2 to 6 weeks, depends on the size of the project.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround. And obviously being able to do it, you guys do everything in-house, right?
Exactly. Yes. We are the factory.
You're the factory. So, you have full control over all of your projects, being able to expedite, being able to prioritize, things like that. It's not like you have to wait for someone else's time frame to be able to get what you need.
Yeah, we don't deal with third parties. Everything is actually hired directly with us, and we're responsible for everything. So we make everything happen. Logistics are very, very efficient.
And nothing is outsourced, right? It's all installation. Everything is internal.
Yes.
It's amazing. So when you're going through the design process, because this is something that, homeowners especially, and you work with designers and builders and people like that as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So, a designer has a general idea. They've seen it. They've done it. But a homeowner, this might be the first time that they've ever designed a closet. So they might think they know, but they don't really know what it's going to look like. Your showroom fills a void of that. But do you guys work on renderings, or do you work on any types of drawings so that way they can kind of visualize a space before it goes into production?
Right. Yes. I'm talking about designers. Most people in this industry, they think they know everything, and at one point they do. But there is a reason why there are some professionals that are more focused on what we do. In this case, we are very professionals in the closet area. So when an interior designer comes and tells us, okay, so this is the customer, this is what they want, I always tell them, okay, perfect, this is great, thank you for your input, but I still need to talk to the homeowner or the person who's going to end up using the closet, because I want to make sure that I deliver what they want, because it's happened to me before. Sometimes I just do everything out of what the interior designer told me, and then when the customer starts to live there, they call us back because they tell us they want to make changes, adjustments, they didn't want this, they actually want to do something a little different. So I already know these things. Again, it comes with experience, but I always want to be able to talk to the person who's going to end up using the closet.
It's so important in the fact that you guys are that thorough, because there's a difference between designing a closet, but the fact that you are the one, you guys are manufacturing, so you understand all the components, everything that's needed to be able to make a certain function work. Because on paper it might look one way, but when you get into the intricate details in the sense of like how the depth that might be needed, or if it's a corner or what different configurations, you guys are doing every single angle of it, so you know exactly what's needed on all sides. And most closets are a box, but there's also unique configurations, especially with a lot of these older homes here in South Florida, that you have to work around. So knowing what the end user, whoever that might be, really wants, it's understanding your client.
Yeah, exactly.
And you mentioned before the importance, and as I'm going through this, I was rethinking in the sense of South Florida, there's no basements, so here especially, it's a unique market where closet systems, not that it's not important in other areas where there's basements, but there is no storage options unless you create functional storage options.
Exactly. Yes. So you have to be very efficient with anything that you do in every particular closet, because in the end, is going to play a role at the time you're going to start putting things away and trying to figure out how to live without a basement.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. True. And when going through that design process, and there are different elements. There's obviously the clear aesthetic. That's the look, it's the feel, it's everything. The space saving component in the sense of how much can you store. When you're going through the design process, do you guys have like a certain weight on the aesthetic versus the functionality and configuration? How do you guys look at that? Because somebody might say, well, I really like this look, and you guys might say, the functionality of it, you're not going to get what you should, so let's try to get the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Yeah. So it comes to balance at that point, and that's something we always try to keep when we're starting to get mock-ups and ideas for the first concept we're going to present to the client. So I always look at how the closet is going to function based on what I see, the amounts of storage they're looking for. Second, I look at how the closet is going to look. So obviously aesthetics are very important. I always try to look for symmetry. Not in all cases we can apply symmetry, but I try to look for it as much as we can. And then again, I want to probably bring it up twice, but it's basically about efficiency in the closet. Right. So I have to bring always those elements and concepts when I'm designing something to make sure that they like what they see. I actually achieve the goal of storing everything that they're trying to put into the closet, and making it look as nice as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, without a doubt. And when you're looking at, we mentioned before, the his and the hers, there are different wants, there are different needs. What are the most differentiating factors between like his closet versus hers closet, if there's two separate, or if there's one big closet and you have to blend the two? When you're sitting down with clients, what are like the different needs and focus points for thinking about that master area, his and hers, things like that?
The difference is probably 4 times. Yeah, and it's because it's.
And then he's just like, whatever she wants.
Right. It's not 100% of the time, but
Yeah.
I always see like women always have 4 times whatever the guy has. So I always
Right.
know that just 1/3 or less of the closet is going to be used by him, and then the other 75% is going to be used, in hers, her things.
Right.
But it basically, to me, the difference is that women may have a lot more shoes,
Right.
a lot more accessories like jewelry, maybe handbags, all these accessories, and maybe long hanging areas they
Right.
might probably need, of course, versus a guy. We don't really need longs unless we have gowns or coats, but we don't
Right.
really wear them very often here in South Florida. So,
Right.
but that's basically the difference. It's probably the amounts of clothes that we find in the closets.
Absolutely, because even thinking about it, you go into some of these closets, it looks like it's a luxury retail showroom, like in ways, like with all of the lighting and the glass and all these different elements. I want to talk about some of those features as far as the aesthetics that you guys really use to be able to highlight certain areas or accent or different cool functions.
Right.
So what are some of those, I guess, more luxury features that you guys are adding into these closet designs?
Lately, we've seen that people are looking for ladder systems because they want to be able to use the height of the closet as storage.
And that's like one of those rolling ladder systems that goes side to side?
Rolling ladders, yes. Okay. The lighting system is super important. And I think it's amazing because now you can actually see a lot of things when you're inside the closet. Before, just with one light, it was very hard to try to find something. So yeah, lighting is playing also a very good role. People are also incorporating doors in the closets, although it seems like it makes the closet look richer, in my opinion. It brings like a cost to it, of course, but at the end result of a closet with a ladder system, glass doors, lights, closet all the way up to the ceiling. I mean, it's amazing. Like when you finish a project like that, you're like, holy cow, this is this is it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when you're talking about glass and things like that, I'm sure those are used in certain areas that, they want to like display something or something that is easily visible, because there's other areas that, you want to close it and not see it as well, but when talking about that and then going into like the materials of the closet system. So there's different types there's melamine, there's, solid wood, there's all these different, products. I want to get your take on the products that are being used, what you guys are really focusing on, if there's really a different value in the sense of using one versus another, or things that, people should look out for.
Right. So, people still ask a lot about real wood materials. They're just expensive, and they're just a little more delicate than other new products. Many people are still in love with the idea of keeping something natural, in wood, painted, very rustic, and that's a very nice concept. But again, it just comes with a cost. New materials are laminated. They're not as delicate. They're easily to replace if something gets damaged, scratched, or we can always just replace it, and the color that is not going to change. It's going to be the same line of color. With paint, you have that issue. If you're trying to replace one part, then you don't get the same color because there is always a change.
Absolutely.
In the tone. And but I think all materials they have the same warranty nowadays. It's just basically what you feel more comfortable having in your home. But everything that we use is warranted, and that's probably the most important thing about doing it with a company that can actually stand behind their products and materials.
Absolutely. And what does a normal warranty even look like?
We usually we do a 10-year warranty.
Okay.
Parts and labor, anything that may happen to your system. Many companies are offering like a lifetime limited warranty, which means that basically they will use anything to try to avoid the warranty. But no, we do a 10-year full warranty, parts, labor. We always look at what happens. I mean, obviously there are some things that might not be our fault, like water damage or flood in the house, but we always try to stand behind our product as much as we can to make sure people feel good.
No, it's amazing because there are a lot of parts that goes into the design, the build. There's all different mechanisms, things like that. I want to talk about like different mechanisms and different ways. There's soft close. There's we hear about all different types of hinges and all of those different components. What do you guys use, and how do you prioritize, obviously, the importance and the quality of the products that you're using that might not be the focus point, but is truly the whole function?
Right. So in the industry, it became very popular to have self-closing doors, self-closing drawers. So at one point, we started to see that people, they wanted to have these things, but they were like, I don't know if I can really pay for those things. So we did something, because we're the factory. We decided to just give a little back to the customer and just make those a standard in our company. So basically, when you're buying, 5 set of drawers or just one drawer, you're always gonna get a self-closing drawer, just as a compliment, or as a gift to
Absolutely.
you. Because I think you if you're hiring a closet company like ours, you don't really want to have to get something like you could probably get it somewhere else,
right.
At department store. You just get something that is like, oh my God, I pay for something that is
right.
extra nice.
No, absolutely. And there's a lot of different products out there, and the thing is, like, the small little features or luxuries, or really it as you said, it should be included. The soft close, like, to not have soft close, I feel like, because really everything is these days, it's only helping you and the product that you're putting in, and which ultimately makes the client happy.
Right. We just wanted to make it like an obvious answer. Like,
right.
Is this soft close? Yes, of course.
Right. Without a doubt. And talking about just all areas in general, because, you're not just doing closets. There are pantries and all other areas of the home. What are some of the other areas that you guys are working on with clients?
Yes. So I love doing laundry rooms. And I like those because you can see the change when you actually do the whole makeover project. It's really amazing. I love also doing home offices, creating spaces where people can work and they can, be there doing what they do every day. It's also like a great project. We also do wall bed systems and morphe beds.
Yep.
They really created a new concept after COVID, especially many people asking for those type of ideas. They really save a lot of space in the home. We also do wall units, entertainment centers, bars, dry bars, pantry closets, built-in closets, closet doors. We bring a lot of storage ideas. Mud rooms, yes. Oh, those concepts are becoming very popular right now with architects,
right.
Especially coming from up north. They actually create areas where we can come up with very creative ideas for mud rooms. Yes.
It's incredible because there's so many different areas of the home. Like, for people to start thinking and envisioning the possibilities and seeing more storage in functional ways, but keeping the aesthetic, I see mud rooms are an area, like, it's usually near the garage, somewhere near the entrance, things like that. But it's a great place to be able to hide everything, shoes,
yes.
coats, things like that. So that way they're just not at your door.
Exactly. Yes. And that also comes by the hand with garage systems.
Yep.
So sometimes people have a mud room in the garage, but they also want to create extra storage, for cabinets and slat walls to hang different, types of items, sports items, or, But yes, we do all these storage systems in the home along with closets. Yes,
and we'll get into it, but garage systems, have taken on a whole new life.
Yes,
in the sense of what they are and how people are storing items in the garage. But going into actually, I was wondering, when talking about like pantries and just, you were talking about door systems and things like that. Have you designed, or have you gotten requests for, every now and then you see them online, like the hidden door where it like leads into another room that you don't necessarily know the room is there, or like a bookcase that really opens up and has like an office or a hidden room behind?
Right. Yeah. So we did that once. It was a nice experiment. The person who did it, he loved it because I guess there was a reason why he wanted to have that.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes people have, these ideas of maybe keeping some secret compartments, secret pullouts where they can just hide something, maybe a gun or I don't know.
Right.
But we've done some crazy
some unique
ideas.
things.
Yeah,
I'm sure people come to you with
that,
ideas.
I guess for them it makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But talking about like hidden areas and things like that, you mentioned. So people have valuables. They have different types of things in their home. Do you guys have like different type of locking mechanisms or safes that you implement into your designs and things like that when that is a request?
Yes, so we have lock systems for the drawers. They're not high security, systems. It's basically just to keep people off, your personal items. When people actually want something a little extra of a security, yes, we do offer safe systems inside the drawers or just, behind some doors. They're basically manufactured by someone else. I mean, we use our distributor to get them. And yes, we can actually provide something a lot safer than just a common lock.
Awesome. Yeah, because it's not just the security, if you had a break-in, but if you have kids, things like that, keeping them away, right. they tend to wander. But, talking about all these different features, technology is a big part of home design, whether it's home automation, lighting, all these different control systems. Are you implementing or do you ever see any of those control systems integrated into like the closet systems, whether it's lighting control or whatever it might be?
Right. Right now, there are companies that are working on that. They actually manage the whole automation in the house.
Okay.
We've had to actually do some part of our work to make sure that they can actually, connect everything along the whole system in the house. But yes, I think that's becoming very popular too. Yes, that's growing.
Yeah, it's incredible just as far as like how technology within the home has evolved and how it continues to evolve and how we live in our spaces. But, in even like surveillance components and everything, like, people, a lot of times people put their most valuable items in their closets, so you're designing it for a lot of different purposes. And also catering to like trends and everything that's involved in the industry. Are you, when talking about lighting systems, there's a lot of different things, or in general, are there trends or things coming to market that you guys have been starting to implement, or things that you've seen, if you go to a closet expo or, different events that you might go to, that really piques your interest in the sense of wanting to integrate it into design?
I think the biggest feature right now is lighting. There are many options on how you turn them on, turn them off, how you set them up, with the dimmer or with different colors. Those are probably, I think, the hottest feature right now. That's right. When people see a picture of a closet, they're like, oh my God, I love this closet. And I know the reason why they love it is because they have a lot of lighting in there. Right. So that's I think that's the greatest element, besides, some other features like pull-out systems, pull-down systems, hidden mirrors, jewelry trays, glass countertops, glass doors, all these all together actually, make a closet super high end. That's what people love.
Absolutely. And talking about those space planning elements of, what you're talking about, knowing what can fit in a closet. So you, as you mentioned before, you walk into a space, exactly pretty much based on the amount of spaces there, the different types of configurations that you can offer a client. Talking about space planning, if a closet is big enough, or maybe somebody has a dream that they want that island, with a glass top and being able to display, different types of valuables or whatever it might be, or sunglasses and all these different things in that island. What are there general dimensions of a closet? Say if somebody's listening to this and they have a certain size closet, what is like the minimum size closet that you need to be able to include an island within your closet, and still where it doesn't look odd because it's so small, like to have the proper size?
I would say probably the area size of an island has to be like at least 10 feet by 10 feet.
Right.
Yeah, it's 10 by 10 will be the right space for an island space to be comfortable, to walk around it, and to be able to actually, enjoy having that feature in the closet.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you have any like tips or like go-to types of designs, like if it's a really small closet or different elements that you might add to give it the overall larger impression, to make it feel bigger than, there's could be glass, it could be different things that you guys incorporate the design to make something feel bigger than what it is?
Sometimes corner shelves might help, and it's a concept that it's actually something that I explain to people when I'm there. I actually need to see the space to be able to visualize what can be done. But yeah, it comes with experience, and that's something that sometimes I can just mock up on my iPad when I come to see a particular space. But there are cool ideas sometimes when people don't see the potential. We can actually have a little more vision of what can be done to make it, great.
Absolutely. And thinking about all the projects that you've done over the years, and going off of the space planning and seeing, different sizes and things like that, has there been a challenge that you've experienced in the past, or a consistent challenge in certain types of closets as far as being able to design it to its full potential? Like whether it's an awkward corner or a window or something like that, are there challenges that you consistently see in the industry that truly a professional needs to be able to design around?
I probably find challenges in old homes, probably homes built before the 2000s. I think closet systems or closet spaces were not relevant before. People used to think that they only needed the shelf and the rod to be able to just put something in a closet.
Mostly just bifold type wide closets versus walk-in closets.
Exactly. And then they will use this standard door, which, you may have like a 10-foot long closet, but then the door was only 4 feet wide. And then it's like you don't really have access to that whole 10 feet inside that closet.
Right.
So it becomes very hard to work around those areas, because then you start suggesting, to the customer that you may want to increase the size of the door. And they might think that you're trying to sell them something else, but it's not. It's just that getting access to that space becomes very limited. And then the ideas will become a little more, I guess the project starts to become bigger once you start realizing that the solution is something a little bigger in terms of what it's going to cost, or what it's going to, take based on, maybe removing some walls and things like those. But yes, I find the challenges in older homes, basically.
Without a doubt, because a lot of people, like older homes, someone might, be looking to do a remodel. Maybe they're remodeling their bathroom. Often the closet is near the bathroom, talking about masters and things like that. Going into that, they might not be necessarily thinking about, they might just be thinking about like remodeling the bathroom, doing a refresh, changing shower, whatever it might be, vanities. But then they realize, well, this is my opportunity to change the closet size because we're doing it all anyway. What can you recommend when they're looking at the space planning of the general area? Maybe there was like just a bifold wide closet on one side of it, but the bathroom was behind it. But maybe it's big enough to be able to put a wall all the way. The value of increasing the size of the closet and taking a little bit away from the bathroom, ultimately the return, I assume, you'll get more by having that walk-in closet system.
Right.
Versus just staying with a wide, bifold type system.
I've seen that lately. Some people who knows me, they have actually called me lately to actually come and assess what the best way of setting up the closet space in a bathroom remodel could be,
right,
to make sure that they have enough space for the closet to make it better, and also to keep spaces in the bathroom. So in the end, I think remodeling is becoming a team job. It's
right.
Not just the architect job to put it together, but it comes also with the experience and by the hand with the closet people, in this case us, to make sure that we're going to be able to make the closet, interesting and efficient. In the end, we want to make it nice, pretty, efficient, and to make people get the dream closet they
absolutely
want,
because
right?
There's nothing worse to do a whole remodel and then realize maybe you didn't plan the right space for it, and now you have different types of issues. So you would recommend, if somebody has a contractor, they're going through a remodel, yes, contact contact you guys,
Yes.
contact the closet company in the sense of, being able to come in, give that consultation. So that way, not only your job's easier because you have more space or better space or the right space to be able to give that closet. And you can already start doing mock-ups and renderings and things like that, while still being able to achieve the bathroom remodel or whatever it might be.
Yes, bring the expert. We're always open to, give ideas to people, to make sure that whenever we're going to do the project is going to be, more effective for them,
right,
and easier for us also to be able to make it happen for them.
That's a great point. And, I want to bring it back to the garages because we touched on it a little bit in the evolution of the garage functionality, the space. I mean, people, there's people I've seen, they love cars and they like turn it into their own like little car showroom, or maybe they have like closet system in like a gym area or whatever it might be. But I want to kind of touch on your take and what you've been seeing as far as trends or different design elements and things like that you're incorporating into garage storage systems or, build outs.
Right. So like you were saying before, people down here, they don't have a basement space in their homes anymore. So they're basically just replacing that within the garage area, and however they can set it up to make sure they can get storage for these, seasonal elements, yeah, and, containers that they might probably have with, a lot of things. So, yeah, it's our job to, again, when we look at the space, see what the positions of the cars will be in the garage, see what space we have left after that, and see how we can come up with ideas to, make sure that we can actually offer really good storage, organized, clean, neat, and pretty, as much as we can in that area.
Absolutely. Yeah. And talking about the materials, does it differ from what you're putting in closets? Because, when you're thinking about your garage, it has some of the outdoor elements, more humidity, things like that. Talking about materials, is there a difference in that, or what are you guys putting in these closet
Sometimes
systems?
People they want to see something different than melamine, which is a very common material we use in the closet system industry. But actually, melamine holds up pretty well. I've had my garage system for over 10 years now, and it looks like it was done yesterday. But sometimes people want to do something different, that it's a little more water resistant. We can also bring in PVC materials.
Okay.
Again, they come with a cost, but if people feel like they need a different material, we can always, do something different. I've seen also metal cabinets. Those are actually pre-made cabinets. We haven't gotten into that yet. But again, it's pre-made cabinets. You
lose the custom element to it.
Exactly. I don't think they're very efficient. They just limit, on what you can do with them. But right. I guess for some people those may work.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And then also as far as like what, when it goes into the installation, where inside you can bring the cabinetry all the way to the floor. So when it comes to the garage, just to be preventative and things like that, you might want it lifted. Like, what do you guys do in sense of, those types of design elements to make sure that you are acting in a preventative way?
Yeah. So the most important thing is to try to protect the cabinets, the quality of what we do in the garage, because we never know when the garage might either get water in or a flood. So we always keep those garage cabinets off the floor to make sure you don't have those types of accidents. And everything is part of what we can prevent to make the system work properly and make it as durable as possible.
Absolutely. And when you're talking about like these different functional areas of the garage system, people are storing seasonal types of things that, they're only going to pull out every once in a while. Other things as far as like storage racks, there's wall systems, there's all these different types of systems. I want to dive into the possibilities so, our listeners can really envision what their garage could be in the sense of functionality, whether there's baskets or, pullouts or even, like workbench type, workstations in the sense of like for tools and things like that as well.
Right. So workstations are very common because mostly guys, we think we're handy and we like to have a place where we can hang out or just try to fix something. So they're very, very common. They look pretty nice. They actually get some symmetry in them. I like them. And I think they're very good for storing many elements like tools and things that become handy when you're doing anything in the house. And yes, we also have slat walls where we can actually use them to hang any type of particular storage systems, sporting goods, like you said, baskets for balls or rackets, golf clubs. All these elements can be very well organized, and you can also visit our social media platforms to look at some pictures of garages we've done before with all these elements. But yeah, basically, that's probably the good thing about the closet industry. We have come up with so many ideas and accessories to just give to every piece and anything that you may want to think of, a place for it.
Or not thinking of.
Or not thinking of, exactly.
You might, someone might come to you with something in any space and be like, oh, well, this is what we're looking for. And then what the possibility is to be able to offer, not just, because it's not always just giving someone what they're saying they want. It's a matter of looking at a space, giving suggestions, saying, well, you can also do this, this, and this. And that way they can see like, oh, they can see, well, do I want to spend more for this? Or do I want to save here? Or whatever it might be. And that's why I always go back to working with the people that are doing it every day, that this is what they do. You're not just a designer, you're installing it, you're fabricating it, you're doing everything. So all of the possibilities, you're staying up to date on all of the trends and things that are coming to market to be able to incorporate into today's design.
Totally, yes.
So when going through everything, when people, obviously they're closets, pantries, mudrooms, garages, whatever it is, what does, we talked about that 2 to 4 week, time frame, or 2 to 6 week. What are the different things that can make something take longer in the sense of fabrication? Is it purely just the size of the job, or are certain areas of the home more intricate or detail oriented that isn't as simple?
I would say maybe the element that probably takes us a little longer for us to manufacture is the glass doors.
Yeah,
I would say
that's true.
Probably, but we account that when we give the customer the time frame of the installation. Now, sometimes it happens that the customer, for some reason, they couldn't have the floor ready before we arrive. Then we need to just reschedule the installation, just move it a few days, farther, which is fine. We try to work around, the customer's availability, but we always tell them to just, keep us informed on how the project in the house is going, because we understand there are always delays. Something may happen. They might need to, open the floor because there's a pipe or something that is not working properly. And, stuff happens. We understand that. So we always try to work with the clients around these type of issues and just make sure that, whatever we do is going to be, working together with them to make sure that they get the final product well installed. And,
Well, that's an important point because, it's not just, the company that's installing and designing and building the closets. The customer has a responsibility too, to be able to keep things on time and moving and having all the prep done. Are there certain things in particular, like obviously if someone's doing a remodel, it's one thing. There are, other trades that might back something up or something might happen. But say if somebody is there, they have the space and they're contracting you guys, is there anything on their part that they should be actively working on to make sure that their space is prepped properly and ready to go?
Right. So yes, they do have that responsibility to keep us informed, because we call them a few days before to make sure that, they know we're coming to start the closet installation or the project installation. And yes, they need to make sure that they're ready for us. Yes.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And just talking about like, trends and things like that you're seeing in the latest, things that you may not have worked with yet, or trends that have come to market and you're like, please just go away as fast as they came, because trends, they come and go, are there things that, were new ideas that you've seen and people have been asking for, where you're just like, I don't know why everyone loves it, but we'll install it if you want it type of thing, or anything like that?
I don't know if you remember this, but there was a company, or I think there was a company selling a corner cabinet, a huge cabinet, that it was like a
like a Lazy Susan
rotating Lazy Susan
Yeah,
system that people were falling in love with that thing. But then I went to see it because I was curious about it, and when I looked at it, I was like, but this thing is huge.
It's massive.
It's massive.
Right.
This is not going to work in just any closet.
Right.
And I asked the guy, so what happens if one of these shoes, when it's rotating, falls behind the far corner?
I always wondered that. Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I mean, I don't know. they couldn't answer. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like a liability. I mean, you're going to lose the shoe. I mean,
something's going to fall off. Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't ever fall in love with that idea. And I always, when people will bring this up in one of my consultations, I will tell them, listen, I don't think this is really going to work.
Right.
I mean, and these are my reasons, but if you want me to find out how much plus it was really expensive.
Yeah.
It was something that would cost like $3,000, and I was like, it's not worth it at all.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that was one of the things.
No, I mean, we see all these things come to market, and in theory, the idea is right, but the functionality and the what ifs and things like that, like you got to really think about those things.
Right.
When talking about budgets, is there and I know this is like an open-ended question because it all depends on what somebody puts into, their closet and all the add-ons and features and things like that. Is there a general budget range, like per closet, that is common in the sense of what people can expect to spend on a closet?
I would say for a reaching closet, let's say a kid's closet, I mean, I would say the average price for a closet like that is like $2,000.
Okay.
So I think it will start around that area, and then from there you move up to whatever size and particular design or colors and different features you may want to add into the closet. But yeah, that's probably the start point for a closet.
And what about like a walk-in closet starting point?
I would say probably 3,000, 4,000. Again, it's many elements involved.
Absolutely. No, that's great, because it's important for people to know like what they should budget, because the problem is like a lot of people, they have no idea. They've never done it before. So understanding what they can expect for budgets and being able to have round numbers to be able to work against. Do you have any stories of projects in particular that really stand out in the sense of like what you guys have done, and ones that, you walk away from and be like, wow, that was an awesome project?
Yeah, I have a few. I mean, it's been so many, but I would say, again, closets where you can see all the elements together, like a ladder system, lighting system, closet all the way up to the ceiling with the crown molding, columns, lots of drawers, vanity mirrors, glass doors. Those are amazing projects. But in the end, I think the best reward you can get in a project like that, especially in those, is to see the customers gratitude when they actually see a project like that done. That's actually what makes you feel even better about that project. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like a piece of art that you actually created. So yeah, it's a good feeling.
And you guys are changing the way that people are able to live in their home. That you're adding all these different elements that they didn't have before, and the functionality of all these spaces are going to be completely different for them.
Yes, totally. Yes. And people actually see it. I mean, a lot of people, when they call us, it's because they've had the systems before. And I ask them, I tell them, have you had these closet systems before? And they're like, yeah, that's the reason why you're here, because I cannot live without this.
Right.
So I want to make sure that, I hire the right company, to do this project. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So you've been in business for a while. You've seen the evolution of the industry. Where's the closet industry going in the next 5 or 10 years? Like, what do you see coming to life, or new things that might be talked about in the industry? I mean, what are we going to be seeing in the next 10 years?
We're seeing a lot of changes right now. Like I said to you a little before, in all homes, I see small spaces, hard to access, not very good planning on the architect part, to make sure, people will have good closet storage. Nowadays, I think they're actually coming together to make sure they have enough space and good space for access and to create a really pretty closet in the house.
Right.
So that's opening a big, opportunity for closet companies to actually bring all these toys and upgrades and features into the home remodeling industry. So
absolutely,
I cannot really tell you exactly what I foresee happening in the future, but I think we're gonna have a very good opportunity eventually.
Without a doubt. No, and I'm sure materials and things like that just continue to evolve. There's new things that are always introduced. But one area that just came to mind that I was curious, where if somebody says, "Oh, I want to design this space," do you look at them and be like, "Oh, this is not my favorite, but okay, let's do it." Underneath a staircase, that's like often dead space, like unused space. It's just an open area usually. What do you guys do in the sense of being able to create functionality to those types of spaces?
Yeah, those are tough because you're not only concerned about creating a storage, but also ways for the person to walk inside that area.
Right.
So sometimes you have to do shallow shelving, working with, along the heights that you may find in that particular space. I think it's still useful to create those areas to make sure
right.
you can get some extra storage or areas for you to save some things. But some spaces I don't like to work around.
Right.
But once we're done,
yeah.
and people tells you, "Oh my God, this is really helping me a lot," then
right.
you feel a very good satisfaction.
Absolutely, no, it's awesome. Are there certain questions? So somebody looking to hire a company that builds closets or storage solutions, are there questions that you would suggest to a homeowner or anybody to ask a potential company that they're going to hire to do this work? Are there those questions that you guys would say, when you're talking to somebody, make sure you ask these?
Yeah. So I don't really have particular questions, but what I've been seeing lately is that there are many new companies, many new franchise companies
yep.
coming to homes and providing estimates without much experience. And I always tell people, listen, this is what I did for you. I just presented to you this project. I mean, you can see my experience. I just hope you can, see and compare, who's actually telling you what can be done and what cannot. What I'm surprised, though, is that many companies right now called custom closet companies,
right?
They're not so custom. They're actually offering something very standard to clients. People think that's the custom closet right. business, and it's not. I mean, when we say we're custom, it's because we can actually make basically anything happen in a closet. Right. But yeah, I do see a lot of people just offering a standard stuff. And at that point, I will tell people if they cannot really offer you this idea that I'm selling you here, like this corner or particular ideas, is because they don't really have the capabilities or the customization
right.
that they're actually trying to sell you. So just put that into perspective and see if that's really the company for you. Because I might be a little higher on the quote, but I'm giving you probably a 50% more efficient closet. Right. Than the other one.
100%. And I think that is what defines a custom closet, because you're literally utilizing every inch, every little corner, everything to the best of its ability, versus just saying, okay, we can do these boxes here and essentially you'll get this much storage and things like that. But you guys are going to have the exact dimensions, size, functionality that is perfect for a space.
Right, exactly. So yes, I always put all the elements together, and I always show people again. And this is what I tell my sales team in our company. We're gonna thrive because we do have a lot of experience in what we do, and we know what we're capable of. We're not selling something that we can't not do, and we're not trying to sell people something that is not true. So in the end, I think after all this competition and what's happening with the market, we're gonna be able to still succeed because of that particular element.
Absolutely, and that's why you're here today. Because truthfully, I mean, you guys are the authority in the industry. I mean, this is what you do. You're not building kitchens. You guys are really working to maximize every area of somebody's home to give them the best aesthetic, functionality, and all of the solutions that somebody is wanting, because that's your job. Your job is to offer the potential, what the space can be. And, it's amazing to hear. I mean, we talked about closet systems, laundry rooms, pantries, walk-in pantries, under the stair storage. We talked about garages, wall beds, home offices. I mean, home offices, like, it's always been something, but coming out of COVID, I mean, you need a workstation, wall units, things like that. I mean, even back to the workstations, I mean, a place for your kids to be able to do homework and things like that. Like, these are all areas of a home that homeowners need to think about. And it's not just always buying a piece of furniture that's going to solve something. Having that custom element that has dual functions, that has all of the different elements, that's not only going to give it the look that you want, but most importantly, the functionality. That's what you do. That's what you do every day.
Yes, exactly. I always tell people, when you do something, just make sure that you get it, to your size, to your likes, to your needs, because it's gonna be there forever,
right?
Or for as long as you live in that place. So yeah, I always encourage people to make sure that they get what they want.
Absolutely. Yeah. So speaking about that, we talked about a lot of different areas today. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to bring up?
We cover a lot of information. I don't know. I just want to tell people that we're a family-owned business. We've been established, like Adam said, for over 23 years now. We're very honest. I really enjoy doing this with my family. My partners are my brother Diego, Julian, and Cesar. My brother Diego, he's an architect. Julian is a pilot. Cesar is a business administration. He's a really good manager too, and we are all part of this project, and we're just happy to do this, every day. Like I said, we find more satisfaction in people's faces when they see their projects achieved than actually when we actually see a $100,000 closet, because in the end, I just want to make sure that I can transmit, my passion for what I do into these people's homes, on their hearts, because, when I see them smiling and happy about the closets, is actually what, drives me to keep it going.
It's amazing. And I thank you for obviously being here today, but also, I mean, you've been a part of the home design remodeling shows for years, and you guys have always, the way that you care for your display and your presence and how you work with people and educate people and how people come back looking for you and people that you've done work for. I mean, it's amazing to see, and what you've accomplished in the community is so special. And I thank you for always being a part of our shows and everything, and really caring about the details of your craft.
Yeah, I really enjoy coming to the show. I think it's a really great project that it just brings us all, in the home industry together, to actually tell, most residents in South Florida that, we are the reliable ones if you want to get something done professionally.
Right.
So thank you for always, keeping us there.
Yeah, we're here for you. It's all a family, seeing your family, being a part of what we do and everything. But if somebody wants to reach out to you and contact you guys, what's the best way?
Always you can reach us you can call us at 954-984-8588. That's our main number. We're always on Facebook, Instagram. We're always at the show.
And your website?
Our website, theclosetscompany.com, the closets with an S. That's a good way to actually get good ideas. We have really good pictures in there. And
awesome.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, no. I mean, Instagram, Facebook, all platforms, website, phone number, you covered it all. But, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you at the upcoming home shows. And for everybody who tuned in, we are Florida's premier destination for everything home design and home improvement. You can visit the next home design and remodeling shows in Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, as well as Miami. You can visit our website at homeshows.com. Follow us at FL Home Shows, and make sure you subscribe to our channel to get all of the latest in home design and home improvement. But until next time.